TxStampin Sharon, bringing you another fun fold today. I love this fold. It's my favorite fold, and I'll explain to you why I decided to use this fold as the video goes along. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, you can do so below. After you subscribe, you can hit the little bell. You'll be notified the next time I upload a video. I hope you enjoy this fun fold, and I hope you love my card. If you do, let me hear from you in the comment section below. Let's make a card. Today's card is a fun fold card. I love fun folds. I love playing with different folds. I have actually done this fold before. It's been about a year ago with a different stamp set, but I was looking through all my designer series papers and it started dawning on me that come June 1st, this beautiful paper is going to go away. This is from the Share What You Love designer series paper, and it is actually a specialty paper because it has a sheen to it. This paper is so thick, you could almost make a card with it yourself, just without even a card base. The patterns are gorgeous, and this is actually bits and pieces from like several packs that I have played with some, used for some of my online card classes. But I love this paper. I love how thick it is. And I just want to remind you that if you love it too, you better make sure you stock up before they retire it at the end of May. I am using the stamp set Love What You Do because it goes with the paper, first of all. But second of all, it went with my card. I actually started making the card with a different stamp set, and it just didn't work. Since I'm using photopolymer stamps, I'm going to be using my paper piercing mat to protect it a little bit. I have 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, and I actually used the thick cardstock, and I will explain that to you as I assemble the card. I'm going to stamp with Memento ink because I'll be coloring my flower with my Stampin' blends. And I actually am going to stamp about right there. And then do a few of the flowers at the bottom of my second piece. I will have all of the measurements listed below for you. I'm also going to do another downloadable PDF on my blog, and I'll have that link below if you want to jump over and get that. All right, I am using Blackberry Bliss for my, my words, and I'm going to stamp Thank You on one. And I'm going to stamp, I'm lucky to have a friend like you. I have some friends that have really been, I don't know, we've just, some friends that we have reconnected, and it's just really meant a lot to me to have that connection again. So I wanted to make up a few of these cards to send to them. I'm going to use the latter of the Rich Razzleberry to color my flowers. I love the Stampin' blends because they really do go on smoothly, but I love the fact that I can have 2-tone colors of ink on one image so easily. So, whoops, forgot one. It's been a while since I've used my Stampin' Right markers, and I actually had to pull them out when I made this card because the colors in the designer series paper was Grapefruit Grove, and I don't have a Grapefruit Grove Stampin' Blends. They don't have them yet, so I had to pull out a marker. It's been a while. It still did the job. I just didn't get to do this two-tone effect that I was trying to achieve. Now I'm going to bring in my lighter color and I'm just going to blend so it's not so stark of a line. It really makes me feel like an artist. Now hold it up so you can see the shading that I did. Love it. I'm going to set those aside. And I actually decided that because there's going to be a lot of white space on the inside of the card, I'm going to go ahead and just add a flower to the bottom of this panel. And a flower just to the top of that one. And then I'm going to color the same way as I did before. The black ink and I have not done well today. I don't even see any ink on my fingers, but see how there's a little smudge right there? I gotta fix that. I can't send it like this. So I think what I'll do, I'm like the queen of boo-boos. I can make a mess just as good as the rest of them, but then I try to figure out ways to hide it. Ha! Can't even see it. Look at me go. Do you ever have problems like this? I hope my little tricks help you whenever you're trying to cover up any messes. You know, you could always flip it over and turn it over and stamp on the back. However, see the mess from the Stampin' Blends? That is the only time you can't turn a piece of cardstock over and stamp on the back. Only time. We are all done with the coloring and the stamping. And now we're going to assemble our pieces. I'm calling this the little note card layer. So when you look at the directions below, that's what I'm going to call it so that you'll know the measurements. I want to say it's 7 inches by 3 inches. And I cut this one different than the card I did last year because that's about how much waste I had left over. This measures 8.5 across. And when I cut my card base at 5.5, I had a 3-inch strip, and I was like, just make the note card smaller so that I don't have to pull out another sheet of paper. So this was the only piece that I had left over. Not too bad. So this is like 3 inches by 7 inches, and I scored it at 3.5. This is 5.5 by 10. So I'm going to fold it, and then I'm going to fold it again. And if you'll notice, I didn't use the bone folder on this side yet because there's a little pucker. Do you see that? But you're going to score it at 4.25 and 8.5. So I don't know, it just doesn't want to kind of lay right. So I figured out if I just go ahead and close the card up and then use my bone folder, I had much better results. It just fit better when it's snug against this score line right here. I'm choosing this pattern instead of this pattern, and see, I changed my card base, and I'm going to adhere this layer with some snail. This piece of Designer Series paper is our regular standard, my standard layer of 4 inches by 5.25, and that's going to go right inside. This strip was 1.25 by 5.25. Just kind of playing with the different patterns. Here we go. And let's go ahead and add our layers on the inside. This type of card, to me, is designed like when you want to write a letter. Not just when you want to send a little note to someone, but you know, I just feel that it's important to let people know how important they are to you, and nothing says it like a hand-stamped card anyway. So there's that. Ooh, that's pretty. I like how that turned out. So now we have these two pieces, and they are going to go on our little note card. This will be my thank you on the inside. You will need about 15 inches. So we have our inside done, and I added some snail, and then I realized that I want to go ahead and use some tear and tape on this layer. And remember at the beginning I said that I used the Whisper White thick cardstock. This is the reason why. Because this is going to help hold my ribbon in place. I needed a sturdier piece of cardstock layer than just the regular Whisper White. I think on my card I made last year, I actually had a second layer. But my sentiment that I'm using, this kind of took up a lot of the card, so I couldn't add another layer there. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to also add, we don't want more than just that much, and the best way to do this, so that you know when you're making the card at home, let me just show you this way, is to just put a little pencil mark right there. It's not going to really show, but that way you'll know not to add adhesive past that line. I'm using the tearing tape because it is a separate little card and I don't want it to fall off when my friend gets it. You could use a paper piercer instead of your snips, but my snips are laying right here, so that's what I chose to grab. So now we want to take our ribbon, and I've done this 2 different ways where I didn't do it this way, and I couldn't figure out how to keep my card closed. So we're going to add this layer right here. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to drape our ribbon across, making sure it's good and straight. And then we're going to center this on here. And when I tie this, it will keep my card closed. So about 15 inches of ribbon. And then I can come in and just snip off. Just a little bit. As you can see, this bow ended up being a lot bigger. And so I really wasted ribbon, so it doesn't need to be that big. Let's just trim that up while we're here. We'll just get both of these cards ready to go. Which one do you like? Oh, I have to point out, I wanted to make this card smaller than this one because I'm like, I can't see all the pretty paper and I wanted to see more of the paper. So when I figured out remember how I showed you that it was 8.5 for the card base and this, I was like, perfect, that solves my problem. I think this one ended up being like 3.5 and this is 3. So not much difference, but I love them both. I hope my friends do too. I think my second one that I did on the video is my favorite, but as you can see by this Share What You Love Designer Series paper, the possibilities are going to be endless. I could make up so many cards using all those different patterns. Thanks for watching and happy stamping, y'all.